Hey everybody, and welcome to a fun little session we're calling AI, Fact or Fiction. And with me today is our official partner when it comes to white labeling and AI here at the Bureau. From E2M, we've got Khushbu. How's it going, Khushbu?
Good. How's it going with you, Carl?
Really good, because I know the answers to all the questions that I'm
Okay.
going to quiz you with. Because, I mean, you know a thing or two about AI, right?
I guess so. I cannot claim it, but let's see.
AI models like ChatGPT are trained on everything on the
hmm
internet. Fact or fiction?
it's a fiction. It's not trained on everything on the internet. It's just trained on the public data. And public data is just 10 or 20% of the total data. There's so much, I would say, copyrighted data and proprietary data, which is not yet available out there in the public. So the LLM models are not trained on those data.
See, you're right, of course. I should just acknowledge that you're going to get all these right. But you know what's really interesting to me is that right before this call, I was telling you that,
hmm
the CEO of The Atlantic commented on
Yes.
a post that I did because of his book, The Running Ground. And it was interesting because I asked Chat, I was like, do you know this book? And of course it did.
hmm
It's copyrighted information, but it knew it. Like I asked it about a certain chapter and it knew the content in that chapter. And so it's like, there's a line, right? It's like, it's going to be moving a lot. And from a legal perspective, I know talking with the Bureau's lawyers, there's not really any kind of precedent set yet. It's
Right.
obviously Anthropic and OpenAI, they're all taking that hard line of let's not get in trouble, it feels like.
Yeah.
But things bleed through, right?
It does, it does. And I guess with copyrighted data as well, let's say, you get a PDF of that book and then you're just downloading it and then you're uploading it in a knowledge base, it's out there in the public. So even if it's a copyrighted data, if it's there in somebody's knowledge base or if it's out there on the internet, you cannot stop LLM from using that data. So there's a lot, I would say, debate around this, like which data is synthesized data and which data is not. But still, there's so much data out there which is not in the public, and the LLM models are not trained yet for it.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Because
Yeah.
the other thing is, I wish there was some way, and this gets to a whole nother human discussion, right? About humans. So much of the data that we put out publicly accessible is
hmm
just horrible. And I wish the LLMs didn't have to see it. It's almost like somebody coming over to your house before it's cleaned up and you're like, I'm so sorry. But it's like the LLMs went out there and they see not only the best of humanity, but the worst of humanity. So
Right.
I don't know if you have any idea, but I am curious, how do these large companies that are working with AI,
hmm
specifically the LLMs, how do they determine when it's time to shut off a source or remove content? That whole, just the way that they're monitoring what's coming in has got to be mind boggling, however they're doing it.
Right, right. So there's a data structuring that happens before you're feeding any data to the LLMs. And that's the reason that now we have mini LLMs. So there are so many mini LLMs where you can, I would say, feed your proprietary data to those LLMs and it's not out there in the internet. It's just being fed to a particular LLM model.
Yeah.
Um, let's say we are using probably LLM model, and then we have a data that we want to feed to an LLM model. So there are structures in which the data needs to go into. Like there are structure blocks of data that you need to feed when you want to, I would say, train it for an LLM. So it's not that you would kind of just dump in all the data you have and then you just feed it to an LLM and it just synthesizes which ones to use and which ones not to use. There's a specific structure in which these models understand and I would say decode this data points. And I guess that structure is something that, data scientists are kind of known for. They would structurize everything and then they would feed it in a way where these models would understand.
It still feels intimidating to me, but the way you just explained it made a ton of sense. So uh, I just want AI to win. I want it to be a good actor. I want it to be able to
Yes.
support us, and I want it to let me go home early. Like that's the main one. Like do all the stuff I don't want to do. So.